to cover, so that if you have 3 or 4 or 5 communities, that will also guide you on how long you need to spend in each of these communities and how many days it will take you. And the sampling size. So if you have 3 to 4 to 5 communities and the expected feedback corresponding that you need to gather your data from maybe is 200 or 500, the case may be. So you need to plan on your sample size. How many individuals are you going to get data from each location, and what category of people are you going to get your data from? Are they from the elderly people in the community, the vulnerable, or maybe the youths within the community? So that will also help you to strategize and come up with sample size, and also deploy your survey tools, which I mentioned earlier, the one that we are going to be using as part of activities, and testing your survey tools, that is through your pilot studies or pilot assessment. So you have to ensure that all of that is followed through as part of your pre-field assessments or activities. And while on the site also, there are specific on-site data gathering activities that you need to undertake. And well, you have to look at meeting the chiefs. We talked about this as part of our checklist that will be deployed, and we also believe and want to ensure that you follow through this checklist while at the field gathering data as part of our program, so that you won't run into issues while at the field. So you meet with the local traditional rulers within that area, seek their consent and approval. If necessary, they will need to attach one or two persons for you, depending on some of the areas might need to penetrate. It's very important that you meet them, and as well as the government's authorities within that area. So the second step will require you meeting with the targeted communities, and in doing that, you also have to have some kind of discussion with community people and looking at the categories of people we are going to get information from. It will also guide you as well. And the collection of the data proper, which is the main thing that you will be sending back to our head office as part of the activities that we have gathered in the field. And you have to select your key informants. For instance, you are going to the field and there are some specific information that you require. You might need to be very thorough or specific in the key informant that you want to interview, so that you can get the right information. So planning will help you to identify these key informants that you need to identify. And also, very importantly, while on the field, pictures is very important. We really emphasize on that. Pictures, very, very key, and not just ordinary pictures. Like I said earlier, the pictures will have some georeference, coordinates, time, the location, so that we ensure that your data that you are sending in are accurate. So those are what they need, some of the activities that we undertake while on the field for data collection. And like I said earlier, let me just quickly introduce us to the data gathering tool that will be deploying while at the field. Yes, feel free to go through these videos again. Understand that within this short time frame, in terms of technical utilization of these tools may not be really feasible, but you can go through the video and it will guide you on how to get this tool and familiarize yourself with it. So in terms of your data gathering in the field, we'll be deploying your Zoho survey. And if you are using an Android phone, it's very easy for you. Just go to your Play Store and you type Zoho survey. You will see it in your Play Store. So you download it and install it and follow all the prompts that is required of you. It might be need for you to get some access code, which we will send to you as part of the process of undertaking this field data gathering for us. So you just go to your Play Store, download your Zone Survey, and install it. And the next thing it will request for is the sign-in, which will be provided for you. So you sign into the Zone Survey using the data or the code, the password that will provide it for you, so that you can have access to some of these pre-structured questionnaires that have already been developed for you to utilize while on the field. Because if you don't have the right sign-in, you might have the app, but you don't have the right information that you use to get some of these answers for us. So it's important that you follow through, and after downloading the app, you have to sign in to get this. And because as it's shown on the screen, once you download this app, those are some of the interface. That's how it's going to look like. So going through the video again, just look at the arrows on how it's shown on the slides. It will guide you, and so that you can properly sign into this app in collecting socioeconomic data or data collection for us while in these communities. So once you sign in, you now have to start your socioeconomic data collection, where you now impute your name, because your name has to be there, who exactly was in the field getting this data for us, the name of the respondents, and then the name of the enumerator, which is your name. The name of the respondent is the person that you are asking this question from. You have to fill the name there. In some cases, the name might be anonymous, depending on the question, the way it's structured. But once you sign in and launch these questions, it will take you to the questions will be there for you to see. So you follow through these questions till the end. And at the end of the questions, to probably for each of the days that you spend on the field, like as is shown on the screen, there you will have a total number of some of the information or responding that you interviewed today. So you yourself, you know how far you've gone that day. If you have covered maybe 50 or 100, like is shown on the screen, it will indicate there, and you know how far you've gone and whether you're meeting up with the targets that you were supposed to cover, and how many do you need more to complete your data that you need to send. So that is it. Like I said, you can go through the video again so that you can get information accurately on how to utilize that app. And other tools that you also need in the field, you also need the digital camera. If you have access to one, it's very important. Or maybe you use your phone taking the pictures, a voice recorder, because there are some instances that, some interviews that maybe you will not be able to get the right information the person is sharing with you. Might need to record it so that by the time you get home, you're able to transcribe this information accurately, and so that you share it with us. And in a GPS handheld device, some of these information or tools that have been that is on the screen now, if you are using a smartphone, all of this can be on your phone. So you may not need to have a separate GPS handheld device. Your pictures and some of the apps on your phone can help you take your coordinates on the field. You can use your phone to do your recording. Just ensure that you have enough space before you go to the field, so that you will not be facing challenges of memory while recording or taking your pictures while on the field. So that is very important when ensuring that some of the tools that you are taking to the field are really available. And another primary survey method that I talked about, remember we were talking about questionnaire previously. Another one is going to be focus group discussion, which there will be need for you to undertake this. And at what stage or at what point do you need to do this? So you can use this basically to gather information from a group of persons or an association, so that your information will be reliable, and maybe one or two, three or persons within the group could share their views, and we also ensure that whatever you are getting will be cut across members of this association. So instead of, or maybe when you are not doing your key informant interview, or you're not using a questionnaire, you might be need for group focus group discussion, so that you can have a unanimous or accurate information from members of the group while discussing with them. And in carrying out your focus group discussion, also there are guidelines that you need to ensure that you follow. And looking at focus, you need to ensure that it's targeted at specific types of information. Probably you are looking at the informations or data that are related to traditional institution, how they manage the mining activities within their area, or some of the challenges they're facing as a traditional institution. So you might need to focus on them as part of a focus group discussion, and which will now have specific information in that area. And also looking at the fact that individual group that will be sharing some of this information with you might not have a holistic information to share with you. So that is why your focus discussion is very important. And also, depending on the characteristics of the group, maybe you are looking at information or data that has to do with particular gender. So they might need for you to gather the women, might need for you to gather the men, or they might need for you to gather the traditional rulers. So this will now guide you or provide information targeted at specific groups, and maybe the topics that you will be using to engage with them will also be very important why you need to undertake your focus group discussion. So, and another one that you might, another data gathering that you might need to deploy in the field has to do with the key informant interview. You have looked at the survey using your questionnaire, you looked at the focus group discussion, and now the key informant interview, which has to be deployed when you are dealing with a specific stakeholder within the community. And the purpose of this interview is to collect information from a wide range of people. Maybe dealing with community leaders, or maybe having to get first-hand knowledge on some community issues. So we might need to have a key informant interview with these particular individuals. And then the community individual that we will have to interview would have to have it at the back of your mind, maybe through questions or your research. We will have to ensure that the person will be able to provide the right information and insights that you expect, and maybe in terms of the nature of the problem, so that you can guide in proper recommendations and solutions, because as the person is giving you some of the information, you can also give you an idea of some of the solutions that you might need to guide us in an advocacy program. So, and also in terms of your key informant interview, there are basic guidelines that you need to follow, just like when you are having your economic survey, when you are also undertaking key informant interview in the field. There are basic things that you need to adopt as part of the best practice in field data collection. So you have to help to establish the purpose of the interview. Why are you interviewing this person? Maybe based on the particular information that this person can share with you, or based on the level of knowledge that this person have in this about the community, or based on the experience. And maybe the person has worked in that area, he's very familiar with that terrain, he's familiar with the culture, and he's familiar with some of the information that you need within that area. So that will guide you on having a proper key informant interview by selecting your interviewer.